Hello everyone, I am Grayson the Bard, and welcome back to another Sunbreak build video. Today I am going to be taking a look at the hammer, which, fun fact, was the first weapon I actually tried when I first picked up Monster Hunter way back in the day, but that is a story for another video. Before I get into the build itself, I'm going to do my normal disclaimer. As a reminder, these builds that I am presenting are not meant to be meta. They are not meant to be the best of the best, highest possible damage. They are just meant to be fun, kinda niche builds that I have been enjoying my time with and want to share with all of you. In addition to my normal disclaimer, this video is being recorded and everything is prepped and ready after the release of Title Update 1, which means I had access to Curious Crafting to let me augment the armor and weapons. I am not going to be showing any augmented gear in the video. Everything you see is going to be unaugmented because I want to be able to show people how to make these builds kind of as templates so they can customize them themselves. There are going to be some things where if you get really good Curious Crafting augment rolls, you'll be able to swap out different pieces, you'll be able to play around with getting different sets, but unfortunately, since that is something that you can't control, it is entirely RNG, I don't feel right showing it off in a video and being like, oh yeah, all you have to do is augment attack boost +3 onto your helmet. It's as easy as that. To me, that doesn't seem like a good way to show these builds off. With that out of the way, let's dive right in. The build I am showing off today is Charge Master Blast Hammer, which is not only incredibly fun to say, but incredibly fun to play. Not proud of myself for that one. Neither is my dog, apparently. Okay, but Charge Master Blast Hammer. So this build is something that I have been cooking up since I first fought Garangolm and saw the Charge Master skill. It's gone through a lot of different variations, starting off as a mix of Garangolm and Blood Orange Bisha 10 armor, using the Blood Orange Bisha 10 hammer, and then becoming kind of a mix of Garangolm and jelly stuff with the Teostra hammer, before finally settling on what I'm going to be presenting today, which I still think has room for improvement, and I'm still playing around with it a little bit, but I do feel very comfortable with where it is now. The armor for this one is a mix of endgame and mid-game stuff. We have, for the head, the Golden Loon Helm, which you get from Gold Rathian, the Jelly Vest X, which you get from doing the Meowcenaries side, I don't even know if I can call it a minigame, but the side thing you do with the Meowcenaries from the Lava Caverns, if there is a shiny fish icon on the Lava Caverns when you do Meowcenaries, that's where you get the item to make the Jelly Vest. Outpost HQ Greaves, which you get from doing the Admiral Gallius follow requests, Kaiser Coil X from Teostra, and the Golem Greaves from Garangolm. And last but not least, for the Talisman, I am using my Attack Boost 3 with a 3 slot and a 1 slot because I have not found anything better yet, and I don't know if I'm going to find anything better for a very long time. And then for the hammer, I am going to be using the Teostra hammer because it has the highest blast out of all of the hammers in the game right now, as well as a really respectable raw of 310 and 10% affinity, which is nice, even though we don't focus too much on crit in this build. The biggest drawback of this hammer is the fact that it only has 2 level 1 decoration slots, but it does have a level 2 rampage decoration, which is really nice. With the addition of Curious Crafting and being able to augment armor, which allows you to actually increase the level of slots on your gear as well as add new slots, I wanted to show off the slottage that this build already has, which is really good. Out the gate, it has a lot of level 2 slots, a few level 3s, and a level 4. A few level 1s as well, but with some really lucky augment rolls, you'll be able to get those up to level 2s, maybe even an additional level 3. Who can say? Only the dice decide. Without decorations, we're already looking at a really nice skill list. We've got Attack Boost 3 entirely from the Talisman, Slugger 3, Charge Master 3, Blast Attack 2, Stamina Thief 2, Teostra Blessing 2, which is all you need, Chain Crit 2, Status Trigger 2, Critical Eye 1, Focus 1, Quick Sheath 1, and Foray 1. And then with decorations, we end up with Attack and Defense Boost 7, Blast Attack 3, Slugger 3, Evade Extender 3, Charge Master 3, Stamina Thief 2, Speed Sharpening 2, Teostra's Blessing, Chain Crit, and Status Trigger all still at 2, and then all those other skills that I had at level 1 before, as well as an additional level of Flinch Free for multiplayer, which I did not include on here, just because I didn't want to have to take another screenshot, because I can be lazy sometimes. What you gonna do? I'm going to leave the exact decorations that I used up on the screen for a little bit while I talk about what this build can do and what really makes it tick. The first skill that I'm going to talk about is Charge Master, which was the catalyst for wanting to build this set in the first place. Charge Master as a skill says that whenever you hit a monster with a charged attack, it increases the elemental attack and status buildup of the charged attack. Now on Hammer, where a lot of your attacks are already charged just by nature of the playstyle, that is really, really good. At max level, level 3, the status buildup increases by 15%, which makes it a lot easier to get the blast procs that we want in order to deal consistent high damage to the monster. Another reason that this skill plays really nice with Hammer in particular is the switch skill Charge Switch Courage, which changes how the Hammer's charge attacks function. Now normally you get 3 levels of charge, and you cannot chain the charge attacks into each other. With this switch skill though, it lets you drop down the total number of charges you have from 3 to 2, but each time you hit with a charge attack you can chain into a new one, which is a little bit more powerful each time. Coupling that with Charge Master, you get a really, really nice payoff and some good beefy damage. The next skill we're going to take a look at is a new skill from the Gold Rathian set called Status Trigger. Now the way that this skill works is every time you perform a perfectly timed evade, so dodging through the hitbox of an attack essentially, you get a temporary boost to your abnormal status buildup, which Blast counts as. Now the way it works is kind of weird, so I'm going to swap over to the training dummy so you can see with visuals what I'm talking about. So the way that status buildup normally works is that you have, with every hit with your weapon, you have a 33% or 1 in 3 chance of triggering abnormal status buildup. You'll see as I'm hitting the training dummy here that not every hit has that red cloud effect on it, which is what signifies that the abnormal status, in this case Blast, is being built up. This is why status is usually a lot better on faster hitting weapons, because the more hits you're able to do, the easier it is to hit that 1 in 3 chance of triggering more buildup and getting more procs of the status. Now what Status Trigger does is change how the status buildup actually takes place. When you roll through an attack perfectly, you get a momentary window of time where every hit you do causes status buildup to happen. So if you see, as I'm hitting the training dummy after getting Status Trigger to activate, every attack I do has that blast cloud effect on it, showing that status is being built up. At level 2, where we have it for this build, the effect lasts for 8 seconds. If you can somehow get it up to level 3 via augments or swapping around some armor pieces, that would be ideal, because that makes the effect last for 12 seconds, which is going to give you a lot more wiggle room to make mistakes or dodge attacks, things like that, when you're actually fighting a real monster. In terms of customization potential, this build differs a lot from the other two that I've done so far. This build is not very modular, and a lot of the set pieces are kinda required to make the set do what we want it to do. We need the Teostra Waist for Teostra's Blessing 2 because that increases blast buildup and blast damage. We need the Gold Wrath Helm because of Status Trigger, and we need the Garen Golem legs and the Outpost arms for Charge Master. So really the only thing that could easily be swapped out is the chest piece. Thankfully, as we mentioned before, the set does have really good decoration slots, so you can play around with those a little bit. In fact, as I've been editing and recording this video, I've been thinking about taking out some of the Evade Extender and swapping in for Evade Window, as well as maybe cutting down on the attack a little bit. There's stuff you can do with it. But really a lot of your customization, if you want to keep this build as close to the Charge Master and Blast focus that it has, a lot of your customization is going to come from augment rolls and talisman rolls, which unfortunately we really can't control unless you're on PC and are modding things in. But I have seen some of the wacky stuff that augments can do, so I am wishing everyone good luck and good rolls. And with that, that will be the end of this build video. Thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who have been watching all the way through to the end. I appreciate you, you're wonderful, you're great people. If you want to see more build videos like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell that lets you know that I'm uploading stuff. I sincerely appreciate it and would love to share more videos with you. These have gotten a much bigger response than I ever thought they were going to, so I really want to give a sincere thank you to everybody who's been watching these, leaving comments, liking them, all that YouTube fun stuff. The next build I'm going to be doing, I haven't quite decided on yet. It is either going to be Lance or it's going to be dual blades. I am still working on both of them, and whichever one I get to a point that I'm happy with first is what the next one is going to be. So be looking out for that in about 2 weeks. That's kind of been my turnaround time for these videos, I've noticed. And last but not least, in the description down below, I have links to my Twitch and my Twitter. I play a lot of Monster Hunter on Twitch, and I talk about a lot of Monster Hunter on Twitter, as well as other personal projects that I'm working on. So if you would like to know what your local bard is up to at any given time, feel free to give those a follow and come check them out. They're both a good time, in my humble and unbiased opinion. And until next time, I'll see you next time.